Hello and welcome. Today I wanted to talk about some of the architecture found around America, and more importantly around the world, and some of the inconsistencies with the history surrounding them. So we're going to start with Philadelphia City Hall. Now, when you take a look at Philadelphia City Hall, you see this. Oop, there we go. This is a very beautiful looking building. This is a building that doesn't really look like the ones around it, except for this one. But I bet this is just as old as this is. Um, and that's sort of the idea. These types of city halls don't exactly look like they fit with the time period that they were constructed. Let's go over to the Wikipedia and take a look here. So, 1871 to 1901, 30 years. This doesn't look like a building that can be built in 30 years with horse and cart technology in the 1800s. Now, that's not the only example of this sort of architecture. Let's look at Chicago. And this is the current Chicago City Hall. Old picture of it, postcard, picture of it today. And this is not Chicago's first city hall. Let's take a look at the inside of it. You know, incredible. Like the inside of all of these city halls. See if we can find a picture of the inside of Philadelphia. Yep, pretty incredible looking. Same sort of Romanesque triangle, arch, columns, you know. But let's go back to Chicago. Chicago has had 7 previous city halls. So, number 1, a saloon building, something you'd expect from the 1800s, sort of brick style building. 1837. And then, for some reason, they downgrade to a wooden, sort of just shack looking building in 1842. Then in 1848, this was the first dedicated City Hall building, and immediately you can see sort of the ornateness here. Arch, circular window, huge domed arch here, sort of Egyptian column style that just doesn't look like it fits for 1848 in Chicago. Let's move to City Hall number 4, 1853, and the same sort of ornateness, Romanesque triangle, columns, arches, windows, and stairs leading up into the first level, which is another just inconsistency or consistency, if you want to call it, for all of these old buildings. You know, it sort of looks like the building is sunken in, and there are steps that lead up to it. So let's go to City Hall number 4. Oh, is this the. Oh, this is just the drawing. So, in the picture, it's just an incredible looking building. No, number 5, I, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be looking at here. I don't know if they've made a mistake. Number 6, sort of weird water tower on top of this one. And number 7. This one is more interesting than the previous ones because this one, just look at it. You know, it's sort of monolithic, some sort of well maybe here. And you have the horse and cart population below that does not look of the sophistication level to be building this kind of thing. There's something else you'll find with these old buildings is there is a very minimal amount of information regarding them. Now, I don't know if that's just because of lack of information, but you'll sort of just find a quick little Wikipedia article for each of them, and even on the state's website, it'll often just be a little excerpt. So let's go to Baltimore. Baltimore City Hall looks like this. Right, now this looks copied and pasted out of France. This is like a French manor, Palace of Versailles type thing with dome, second dome on top. Um, let's unclick Baltimore there. This is just in Maryland. Frederick, Maryland. Oops. Well, let's read. This is the city and county of Frederick, Maryland. This is their website. This is the information they have for this building. Let's go to Richmond. This is an incredible building. Richmond City Hall. That's not really what I wanted. Just look at this. Look at the architecture. A picture of the inside. This is incredible. Now, the timeline we're given for this ground was broken in 1886, and it doesn't give us a date for finish. But in 1890, 1880s, 1884, the population was around 7,000. I I don't see a population of 7,000 people building this. Let's go to Connecticut. This is Norwich, Connecticut. This is a great example. Stairs leading up to a second level with windows, arched windows, thin looking here. Now you'll notice the windows follow immediately below the first floor level. And there's no deviation in the width or height of these windows as if they're supposed to be windows. But as you can see, ground level is uneven and part of the building is just in the ground. Why would you build it this way? It doesn't make sense. Now, this is what you'd expect some early pioneer buildings to look like. Not the literal pioneer building here. Sort of wood shacks, wooden houses, log cabins. This is what you'd expect. Here are some of the churches in Utah that were built in the 1800s, oftentimes by populations of less than 3,000 people. This is the Salt Lake Temple. Provo, Utah. And Utah is a place where this kind of architecture is saturated. And we're given the explanation that the Church of the Latter day Saints, Mormon Church, was very wealthy and built these as sort of beacons of their strength and ability. And that narrative would be believable were it not for the population of these cities at the times were given for their creation. So this is Manti, Utah. Just an incredible looking building here. And same deal. Sunken windows, you know, what is this? There's a window here, and what is this? You know, these look just like windows. I don't see a real doorway built here. Uh, and furthermore, why would you build it this way? This style, the half buried buildings. We're told it's an architecture style is all across America, even in swampland areas where you would expect mud and water to be getting into those windows. Let's just look at the history of the Manti, Utah temple. Brigham Young announced the decision to build a temple in Manti June 25th, 1875, and dedicated the site April 25th, 1877. The Salt Lake Temple was announced in 1847, but the construction wasn't finished until 1893. So I guess they're implying they built the Manti Temple as a sort of stay for the Salt Lake Temple. But that doesn't make sense. If the Salt Lake Temple is taking so long from 1847 to 1893, why would you then start work on another temple? So, 1877 dedicated, 1888 completed. 11 years to complete this building and the surrounding structures, I'm assuming. You've got your sunken archway window there again. Um, let's take a look at the population of Manti, Utah in the 1880s. 1,748. In the bottom right of the screen, there's a population chart. That does not add up. 930 households. Oh, as of 2000, my bad. But, uh, you know, population of 2,000, majority children, women. Why would you build this? Just to take a look at another anomaly from this time period. San Francisco in the 1800s, just to show you that this architecture is really everywhere. A block of San Francisco buildings that look very old. 1877, San Francisco. This does not look like a pioneer city. You've got your church spire here. Pretty neat looking architecture.